All right, good evening. Welcome to our regularly scheduled meeting of the Zoning Advisory Commission. It is November the 6th. Call this meeting to order. Who's taking order this evening?
I'll take a roll.
Or roll?
You bet.
Sheena, please.
Commissioner Russell.
Here.
Commissioner Christ. Here. Commissioner Norton.
Here.
Commissioner Furstead.
Here.
Commissioner Lorman.
Here.
Commissioner Zuccaro is excused. Commissioner Mulligan.
Here. Okay, can you please confirm we're in compliance with the Iowa Open Meetings Law?
We are.
Excellent. Okay, in front of most of you are our meeting minutes from October the 2nd. Are there any modifications, comments, or entertain a motion for approval as submitted?
So moved.
So moved. Do we have a
I'll
motion?
second that.
Gina?
Commissioner Christ.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Russell.
Aye.
Commissioner Lorman.
Aye.
Commissioner Furstead.
Aye.
Commissioner Mulligan.
Aye. Okay, those minutes are approved. All right, we have one action item. Site design waiver at 1800 Radford Road. Let's move on to that. If our applicant is here, if you'd come on up, give us your name, your address, and what it is you're looking for from the commission.
All right, Scott Goins, Piasta Properties, doing business as Dubuque Storage, 1800 Radford Road. Requesting a variance on the gate screening and fencing on the west side of the property along Radford Road.
Can you tell me why you're wanting the waiver?
We're requesting the waiver. The site plan was actually approved by the city previously with a little different design. We originally had a gate and a fence on this plan, and it was removed due to concerns from various city departments. One of them was the fire department for fire access, because these would be locked gates with keypad access. They wanted, the fire department wanted access in and out on both sides. Another concern was traffic turning from Radford Road onto the 1800 Radford Road being blocked because of the locations of those gates. That if you had somebody with a large trailer or a semi-truck pulling in there, that it could block traffic coming off 1800 Radford Road. Another concern was just access around the buildings themselves, continuous access, and what that would look like coming in from the west and going around the buildings and coming out on the west side again.
Okay. Any questions for our applicant tonight?
So how did the configuration change? And is it the fire department that's requesting the waiver or?
No, we're requesting the waiver as the owner. The site plan change, we had a building along the south side. So if you're looking at the plan, there's outdoor parking there currently, and that's what's on the plan right now in this current version. We actually had a building set there. That's part of it was changed. And any outdoor parking we had was on the rear of the property off to the east side.
Okay. Carrie, anything else?
No. No.
Okay, thanks. You can have a seat.
All right.
Okay, staff report. Travis?
Assistant Planner Travis Shrubelgen. So as the applicant stated, they're looking to add 4 mini storage buildings and then have outside storage where they currently store vehicles on the south side of the property. Outside storage is required to be screened from view of the adjacent right-of-way. And then also and that's from north and south all the way, viewable from each direction. And then also screened from residential properties, which are all the ones on the east there, and that L shape coming all the way to the left to there. So they are proposing screening, and there's currently some screening from the corner up by Radford Road on the west side all the way down to the east side. And then they are adding a fence also, I believe, just on that south side there. Along the residential properties. So the additional screening then would be behind the curb to the west of the property, right there. Somewhere along there needs to screen that outside storage from view coming north and south on Radford Road. And as part of that screening, a gate is required per code. There was a previous submittal and it was approved. It was a vastly different configuration. The outside storage was all behind the buildings to the east. So screening fence was actually not required in that case, or a gate. They did have a few different renditions, which did have a review of a fence and a gate. And again, they would have had to accommodate that one way or the other. And that's the case here tonight. So they are requesting, so the application states the screening and the gate. The staff report relates specifically to the gate. The applicants confirmed just the other day that they would add screening of some sort on the west side. And then per code, there is some landscaping being added into that 20-foot section there along the road. It does take 4 affirmative votes to pass this, and then site design waivers are essentially intended, let me just read the language quick. If the commission determines that the literal enforcement of one or more of the provisions is impractical or will exact an undue hardship because of peculiar conditions pertaining to the land in question, you may grant, deny, or approve portions of the site plan waiver. And then again, it takes 4 affirmative votes to pass this. And then the screening and gate requirement is attached for your information. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
I do have a question, I guess. So is the applicant proposing to provide a gate, but it just won't be a gate that provides screening, or they don't want to provide a gate at all?
It is my understanding they don't want to do a fence or a screen or a gate. In this case, the gate itself needs to be screened as part of the screening requirement.
Well, it sounds like they're still providing some screening around the property. Can you go around it and describe, again, what they're providing versus specifically what the waiver's for? I don't know why this application's more unclear than some other ones, sorry.
Sure. And there's a current Google view that shows some of the fencing that's already available on the south side. But as you can see in this plan here, there's kind of a bold line on the south side, which indicates additional fencing and screening. And that would be along those residential properties. Just there, all the way across. And then it would be required that they have some on the west side where those trees are, like one side or the other, and then the gate. So again, they're requesting a waiver from that gate requirement.
So they're just requesting a waiver for the west side,
Correct.
like what's drawn on the sketch in red and in black.
Just the red,
behind the vegetation.
And
They'll still have screening everywhere else.
yes, as required by code, yep.
Okay.
I guess I'm confused. The applicant mentioned that there's issues with the fire department and access. I mean, in all the ones I've ever seen before, they have like a Knox box, which is the universal access code or whatever that they can get through.
Yeah. So in previous renditions, we just received this more recently, so this hasn't gone for review as a gate. The requirement to add a gate was given to them, provided to them, that just notifying that it was needed. And at that point, they chose to request the waiver. In previous discussions with the fire department, they would require a Knox box, and then the stacking would need to work out. So it may be that the gate's further south or further east, or however it works out. But
Or there's one on the north side to go in and south side to come out or whatever. I mean,
and there wouldn't be a gate wouldn't be required on the north because there's no outside storage up there. So that'd be wide open on the north side. It's just screening of the storage, outside storage area. That's in question.
So the function of the gate isn't security, it's screening.
Correct.
okay, that's a
Different story.
From a code perspective.
Right.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Dave Schneider, Schneider Land Surveying, 906 First Street North, Farley, Iowa. I'm working with Scott Goins on this site plan, and I just want to make sure everybody's completely clear on what we're screening and what we're requesting. Basically, the north side has already, basically there's an agreement that that fence that's there is going to be replaced, shared cost with the neighbor to the north. There's a proposed fence on the east side up next to the residential neighborhood, and on the south side along the residential neighborhood up to the existing parking area. There is an existing fence already along that parking area continuing on west towards Radford Road. Basically looking at relying on the landscaping to be the screening along Radford Road to fill in that gap. For the outdoor storage that's currently being proposed on the south side of the existing building that's there. I think a little bit of this confusion is we did not necessarily need the screening on the front of along the Radford Road side when we had just buildings up front. The intent was to not have to put city water and sewer, city water into this property by keeping the buildings forward to provide water fire service off of the existing water hydrants off of Radford Road. But basically it came to a situation where the cost of tearing up the parking lot and reconstructing it as well as the backside of the building got to the point where it wasn't feasible. So we opted to submit the site plan with the buildings in the back and provide city water for fire service back to that point. Therefore, leaving the existing outside storage up front. And when we had the buildings up front, we initially proposed the gates and the fence, the security or the screening along Radford Road, but the concern was at that point fire access into that site and out of that site. They had to be able to get in both directions. You know, we've always had the discussion about the Knox box, but this would have been a digital access rather than the traditional Knox box kind of thing. And also the concern with because the fence, if we would have put them right along the right-of-way line, we would have had people parking on Radford Road to try to get into this. We pulled it back and then ultimately decided we could eliminate that by using security cameras for their security protection or whatever. So basically, we are fencing three sides of this, screening the west side with the landscaping and requesting the variance on the fence on the west side and the gate on the west side, relying on those security cameras for the protections out there. If that makes sense?
So
Thank you.
is the
Thank you.
outdoor storage like boats and campers and?
We do not distinguish what is stored in an outside storage yard, but currently, yeah, there are campers and things like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Travis Sheena, the placement of the proposed buildings, having the storage on is that the south side? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's all approved at a city level. We're good with that.
So the site plan is going through DRT right now. The most recent edit, this is the most recent plan that was returned to the city. And upon receiving this, that's when we notified them that they needed to do screening on the west and that gate there. So almost all of this is good except for the waiver that they're seeking today.
In my opinion, if they're putting in that landscaping along Radford, and the only thing missing is if you go go down, one page.
Yep,
Or where's the gate shown?
this one?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all that they want.
I mean, if
Is it
that's
two
what we're
things?
missing, if I'm putting my boat there, I have a problem with that. As the city, I don't think I care. I mean, you don't have,
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
yeah. So I do want to make, is that landscaping in or it's going to go in?
That landscaping will be required to be installed. Right now, it's pavement up to the sidewalk essentially, so they're creating a 20-foot kind of landscaped area with landscaping within it.
Requiring that landscaping to go in.
That is required by code, and then they'll also need to screen with some sort of screen. It can be vegetation or whatever. But then what's being waived today is the gate, solely the gate.
We're requiring all that landscaping.
Yes, yeah, they're required to provide landscaping per Chapter 13, yep.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm clear. Cool. Clear as mud. Right. Would anybody like to make a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the site waiver, waiving the fence and the fence screening as submitted. How's that?
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion and we have a second. Sheena?
All right. Commissioner Norton,
Aye.
Christ,
Aye.
Russell,
Aye.
Commissioner Lorman,
Aye.
Commissioner Forsted,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mulligan.
Aye. Okay, that motion passes. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Will that go to city council?
Nope.
No. Okay.
For site design waivers, you guys are the final determiner, so final decider.
Troy, I get told that
Troy.
roughly twice a meeting for the last 2 years, but I'll catch on one day.
It only took me about 10.
Oh, good, I got a long ways to go then. All right, that's it. Any items from the public? Great, seeing none. Any items from our commission this evening? Oh, yeah, we do have something.
Yeah.
Well, from staff.
Yeah,
Let's move
sorry,
on to
I
you.
was jumping ahead too.
Anything from you,
Want to
Sheena?
welcome Troy and thank him for being here and joining us, and we'll get him a name tag so he's all ready to go for next meeting. But thank you and welcome. That's all we have
Thanks.
from staff.
Welcome, Troy, yeah,
I
glad
guess.
you're here.
Can we jump back a second? I do have a question for staff.
Sure.
So, this storage on Radford Road reminded me of the one on Sipel. And has there been any updates on that one, or?
Yes, there has. They've replaced all of the light poles. So those are code compliant. They installed all of the hard surfacing in all the drive aisles, so that's code compliant. And then the commission waived the screening requirements, so they're good to go.
More recently.
They are compliant with city code currently.
What date was that? They came back just a couple months ago.
Yeah,
3
it
months
wasn't
ago,
one
maybe?
too long ago.
Recently. I think you may have been absent from that meeting.
Right.
Yep.
Sorry, just
Yeah.
a thought popped into
Great
my
question.
brain.
Yeah.
Would you like to do an in-person review of that, Pat?
We can arrange a time and for you to come into the office.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Rich will be there if you want to go.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, anything else from staff tonight?
Nope. Nothing else. Thank you.
All right. Motion for adjournment?
I move we adjourn.
So moved.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Adjourned. Thanks, y'all.